Welcome to the Jill on Money podcast. It is Saturday, April 3rd. And as promised, I want to give you a quick rundown of that jobs report. It was great. There were 916,000 jobs created in the month of March, and the previous 2 months, they were revised higher by more than 150,000. So that's really good news. The unemployment rate, well, it dropped down to 6%. But remember, part of that drop is about how many people are actually not really in the labor force. The labor force participation rate remains mired at a very low level, 61.5%. So where do we stand? There are still 8.4 million fewer jobs than we had before this pandemic started. But man, that is some good progress, especially after where we were a year ago. I know a lot of you continue to work from home. You've got company, 1 in 5 American workers working from home, according to the Labor Department. And the gains in the particular sectors, they were really widespread. But as you might expect, leisure and hospitality saw big jumps up, food service and drinking establishments especially. There was also some hiring in arts and entertainment and recreation. That's good news. Education saw a big move up because there was more in-person learning going on. So also good. Hey, housing market, 110,000 construction workers hired. So all in all, this really is a very good report. We have a ways to go, but I feel like, this is the labor market's got a little spring in its step. Sorry for the pun. Anyway, this is the program that takes the mystery out of your financial life, and we do that by helping you out, and we can only help you out if you tell us what's going on. So please send us your emails at askjill@jillonmoney.com. And of course, if you happen to be on the website, don't forget you can click on that contact button and we'll get your note. Tell us if you want to come on the air with us. We'd love to have you. Mark will do all the technical stuff. That is what Diane did. Diane is on the line from Portland. Hi, Diane. What can we do for you?
Hi, Jill. So nice to meet you. I guess I reached out because we are wondering if it's time to seek the services of a financial advisor. We've done a little bit of research, seen some of your guidance on it, started looking around on the NAPSA website,
Yep.
et cetera. We have some assets savings that we have and some extra investments.
Mm-hmm.
And just looking for advice, but having a little bit of sticker shock in terms of most of the places we look at, the fee only charge the 1%. And it's still, a significant amount. And we're just wondering if it's worth biting the bullet, if we'll get that back in spades, or if we seek a robo-advisor, something like that, and set it and forget it.
Look, it totally is up to you. The thing that's funny about whether it's worth it or not. I mean, if you are, really busy and you're not paying attention to your stuff, then it's almost like, wow, any fee I pay is probably worth it. But that said, I'm hearing that it was more expensive than perhaps you thought. So just tell me about how much money you have invested right now.
So we have been pretty aggressive with saving. So we have about a little over $1 million in some 401ks and IRAs, and then actually 1.5 in non-kind of designated retirement.
Okay.
Funds.
How is it being managed right now? You have current 401ks and you guys are both contributing to them?
Yes, fully contributing to 401ks, and the other one is unfortunately just sitting in basically a money market fund, and we sold a piece of property and haven't really decided what to do with it. And the rest of it is in 401ks, IRAs, some of like a brokerage account, but not really doing much.
Okay. And how old are you?
41.
And spouse?
46.
Okay. Kids?
Yes, 2 kids, a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Okay. You're busy. You got your hands full. I'm hearing it. I got it. Okay. So there's 2 things that come to mind. One is, do you really need a comprehensive financial plan? And it sounds to me like you might be ready for that. The big tell for me was like, by the way, we have a bunch of money sitting in cash, which is usually like we're scared to do anything because we don't really have a plan, and therefore it's sitting in cash, which is, by the way, what you should do, because don't just throw money at doing something without a game plan. So the question is, should you hire someone to create a plan for you and then you execute the plan, right? You could conceivably say, I want to pay someone 10 grand to create a beautiful financial plan. And then that person will tell me exactly how to invest the money. But you would have to actually execute the plan yourselves. The beautiful thing, I guess, about having these options is that you kind of can customize it based on who you are. Are you guys the type that just want to hand it over and say, just do it? Give me a sense of that part.
We're probably in the middle. My previous employer had a certified financial planner kind of on staff from a big bank that they would allow for employees. Mm-hmm. So we almost executed on it, but we ended up moving and kind of changing our life, doing life changes. So that hasn't been refreshed. I would say, that is one option we've thought about, is just getting a, fairly comprehensive but financial plan and just executing ourselves. I think we'd be able to do that. I don't know if we don't really want to be, we're not really interested in investment. We're not going to be, looking at the market and trying to game it or anything like that. So in that sense, we're a bit of a set it and forget it.
Yeah, but that's good, because I almost feel like some people will hire an advisor because they'll say, I know myself and I'm going to mess with this stuff and I need someone to protect me, right? So that human being can be really important to protect you from yourself. But if you're not going to fall prey to that, maybe your first step would be to find a fee-based person to look at the old plan, refresh it, and go through this whole process. Make sure you got the kid stuff figured out, the education stuff figured out, make all these pieces, and do some cash flow planning with you. And then maybe you try to do it yourself. And you could do it yourself. Obviously you could use a robo, or you could, use your Vanguard or your Fidelity, but you'll get some consolidation probably in this process. And you get this thing to work. Then what you could also do, if in a year from now, you're like, oh my God, we really didn't do it, we stink. Then you go back and then you hire someone to manage your money, and I think that maybe that's the game plan for you guys, because I'm hearing that maybe you actually are ideally suited to manage your own money. And maybe you can execute that in, you could do it through a robo, you could do it through a discount broker, but I think that the customized advice is where you want to spend your money, at least for this moment. And I think once you have that game plan, you can always turn to the person who you've hired and said, hey, you know what? We're not doing this. This is too much stuff. You do it. And we'll pay you the, let's see. If you got $1.5 million, we'll pay you the 0.75%. Maybe you got $2 million, because they're not going to manage your 401k for you. So take that out of the equation. But so if you have $2 million, you could say, you know what? Here's $2 million. I'll pay you, 0.5%, 0.75% to do it. And that's what we're going to do. But I think you start with the plan and pay for the plan. And by the way, with a net worth of $2.5 million to spend 10 grand to do a plan, that doesn't seem obscene to me. That seems kind of smart. And that would be my first step that I think I would take.
Okay. And then while I have you on the line,
why not?
I have a micro question.
Sure.
We have 2 cars, and we have loans on those, and they're both at very low percentage interest rates.
Yeah.
But we have the cash to pay them off.
Right.
And I think we should just pay them off, because we don't plan on changing cars until these cars, live at the end of their glorious lives. My spouse disagrees, and he thinks the interest rates are so low, and that I guess theoretically we could make more on if we invested that same money.
Okay, wait a second. But you got a bunch of money sitting in cash right now, right?
Yes.
What's the interest on the cash account?
Zero,
right?
Right now, yeah, it's like really low because it's in a savings account.
Okay, and what's the interest that's on the car loans?
One is 2.9, one is 1.9.
All right. Tell Big Shot over there, the husband, to pipe down, pay off the loans, and just say, oh, look, if you ever invest, you'll do better probably than 1.9%. But let's say combined, you're paying 2.5% for these loans. Pay these darn things off. I hate paying any amount of money. I just hate paying anything for a depreciating asset. And that to me is the issue. Just pay it off and be done. Okay. And it's probably not big money, and go off and get yourself a financial plan and then get the rest of that cash to work. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jill.
If you want to be like Diane, and who doesn't want to be like Diane? Come on. If you want to come on the air live with us, just let us know. Send us an email, hit the website, do all of that. Now, also, we would love it if you wouldn't mind going on over to Apple and leaving us a rating and a review. And if you would do that, we would really appreciate it. We do appreciate you listening, of course. We want to remind you our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Mark Talercio is our executive producer. We are distributed by Cadence 13. And until further notice, this is our show closed. Wash your hands, wear your masks, maintain your physical distancing, and lift somebody up today. It will make that person feel so much better, and it will make you feel better. We are so appreciative that you listen every day. Grit, growth, grace. We sure could use that just to get through the next 45 days or so. Promise. We'll talk to you tomorrow.